Let me tell you a story. It was the last book of the Bible, the last vision, the final warning. Jesus appears, not as the gentle teacher we knew before, but as a blazing, glorified king. Eyes like fire, voice like rushing waters, a sword coming out of his mouth. And who does he speak to first? 7 churches, in real cities, with real people, just like you and me. But here's the twist. These weren't just messages for them, they were messages for us, now, in this exact generation. So today we're going to uncover what's been hidden in plain sight. We're diving deep into the 7 hidden churches of Revelation, their secrets, their struggles, and the voice of Jesus still echoing through time. Comment below. Speak, Lord, I'm listening. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because what you're about to hear could change everything. This is Sugar Bytes News, where we serve prophetic clarity with bold truth. Chapter 1. Ephesus, the church that lost its first love. Let's begin with Ephesus, the powerhouse church, doctrinally sound, busy in ministry, bold in calling out false teachers. Sounds like the perfect church, right? But Jesus says, I have this against you. You have forsaken your first love. Ooh, that hit different. They were busy, but not burning. They had the structure, but not the intimacy. Today, it's the church that looks on fire on Instagram, but doesn't spend time with Jesus in the secret place. Jesus didn't say, go back to ministry. He said, go back to me. Ask yourself, am I serving more than I'm loving? Chapter 2. Smyrna, the church that suffered well. Next was Smyrna, a church under fire, persecuted, poor, oppressed, and yet Jesus has no rebuke for them. He says, I know your afflictions and your poverty, yet you are rich. This is for the remnant, the unseen, the ones being refined in the fire. Maybe you're walking through betrayal, loss. Maybe you're tired of always being the strong one. Jesus sees you. He doesn't tell them to escape it. He tells them to endure it, because a crown of life awaits. Ask yourself, am I willing to suffer well for the sake of Christ? Chapter 3. Pergamum, the compromising church. Now we hit Pergamum, a church living in the middle of hell's playground, and they stood firm. Kind of. They held to their faith, but let compromise creep in. They let people teach things Jesus hated, sexual sin, idol worship, and they tolerated it. Jesus said, repent, or I will come fight against them with the sword of my mouth. Yikes. Today, Pergamum looks like churches that preach part of the truth, but stay silent on what culture calls offensive. Ask yourself, where have I tolerated compromise in my own life? Chapter 4. Thyatira, the church of hidden corruption. Then came Thyatira, the most surprising one. They had love, faith, service, perseverance, but one major issue, Jezebel. Not the historical queen, but the spirit that seduces, manipulates, and controls. Jesus said, you tolerate that woman Jezebel. This wasn't ignorance, it was tolerance. This is the church that loves well but lacks discernment. They don't want to judge, so they let wolves roam freely among sheep, and Jesus doesn't play with that. Ask yourself, what spirits have I tolerated that Jesus is telling me to cast out? Chapter 5. Sardis, the church that looked alive but was dead. Sardis was the flashiest corpse in the room. Jesus said, you have a reputation for being alive, but you are dead. It had a name, a following, a past revival, but spiritually it was flatlined. This is the church that lives on past glories. It's Christian by brand, but not by power. Jesus said, wake up, strengthen what remains. Ask yourself, am I coasting off of old fire instead of seeking fresh oil? Chapter 6. Philadelphia, the faithful one. Philadelphia, the one church that gets all praise, no rebuke. Small, unnoticed, but faithful. Jesus says, I have placed before you an open door no one can shut. This is for those who don't need a stage to obey. For the ones still praying when no one's watching, still worshipping through pain, your faithfulness hasn't gone unseen. He's opening doors that no devil can close. Ask yourself, am I walking through the door God already opened for me? Chapter 7, Laodicea, the lukewarm church. And finally, Laodicea, the one we all know, and maybe fear. Jesus said, "You are neither hot nor cold. I'm about to spit you out of my mouth." They were rich, self-sufficient, polished, but spiritually poor, blind and naked. They thought they had everything, but they had nothing. Jesus pleads, "Buy from me gold refined in the fire. I stand at the door and knock." Yes, even to them he's still knocking. Ask yourself, have I become spiritually lukewarm and self-reliant? Closing, a message for this generation. These 7 churches were ancient, but the letters are still living. They're a mirror for today's church, a mirror for you, for me. So what's Jesus saying to your church, to your heart? Because this wasn't just John's vision, it was a warning for us all. He's still speaking. Are you listening? Comment, "Speak, Lord, I'm listening," if this word hit deep. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that so we can keep going deeper together. Let's reclaim the fire, the fear of the Lord, and the truth that sets us free. This is Sugar Bytes News, where we don't sugarcoat the word. We slice it like a sword, we eat it like bread, and we walk it like warriors. Until next time, stay awake, stay faithful, stay burning.